Hello, everybody. It's Friday, TGIF. Welcome to the show. It is time to head back to the window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
There you go. I thought you might have been still taking a nap there, buddy. Nice to have you.
Yep, good to be here.
Eric Styles in the house says LFG. I understand, Scott, that stands for let's fucking go.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Top of the afternoon to Nathan Cerna. What's going on, buddy? Good to have you guys here. It's Friday. You and I talked about it just before we came on the air. It's weird to just be doing one show, Scott. It seems like, the end of the weeks for the last couple of weeks, we've been just doubling up, tripling up, if you will, last Wednesday. Yesterday, we doubled up. Just one show today. But remember, we will be doing our NFL show tomorrow, regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. T-Train in the house is good afternoon, Ooey Pooey fans. Absolutely, Ooey Pooey did their thing. Going well under the total. That's a bad basketball team there, buddy. Just saying.
If they score 50, they have a parade.
Yeah, they really do. Happy Friday to you, Joan, as well. Ben Campbell feels a little windy with the. I like that with the WIN all in caps. Jacob Houston in the house. Fuck Taysom Hill. He's terrible. We told you he was terrible, and he's fucking terrible. He's not good, Scott. Not a good quarterback.
I kind of like him.
You like him?
We had money on Dallas. I kind of liked him.
Yeah, to fade him. My God, and both of those quarterbacks. That was a clinic on terrible quarterback play in the second half. I don't know if Dak was hurt. Taysom Hill's terrible, so that's his excuse.
Well, Hill has an issue with his finger, so he might get surgery. But my main takeaway was my question for you is maybe even growing up when you were playing pickup football or just watching. Have you ever seen a player with a splint on his finger throw the football well?
No, that's never happened. They must.
Because my only takeaway for the entire game was every single play, handoff or throw, Hill's messing with his finger. You could tell he clearly can't grip the ball. He can't throw it. You really couldn't bring Trevor Siemian in for a snap of that game? Really?
Yeah, you tweeted that out. They must really hate Trevor Siemian.
They must really hate him.
Jacob Houston said, I guess his foot was okay. Yeah, I guess his plantar fascia, that wasn't the problem. Magellan Sports likes a little alternative puck line there with the Oilers tonight, -2.5 plus 3 hundo. I don't hate that. Definitely something not right with Zeke. Yeah, I talked about that on a couple of my previews yesterday in this game about how they'd kind of taken him not out of the running rotation, but they'd really scaled back his workload. Definitely in the less than 10 carries per game. I don't know. What did he end up with last night, Scott?
Well, game flow definitely helped. So he picked up a couple extra ones late. He had the first down carry at the end for, I believe, a game high. What was it, 10 yards on the dot for that first down carry that he had to end the game? But it wasn't pretty. The truth is, it was really annoying watching Dallas just call plays because they couldn't run the ball for pretty much the entire game, with the exception of the Pollard pitch play that went for a touchdown. And yet every time I look up, it's first down and Elliott's in the game. You realize that Pollard's the better running back, right? Like, Elliott can't move.
Yep. When he went to the 10, I thought I was in the rocking chair. Yeah, no kidding. Dallas is always drama, and I love Dallas. They're the real housewives of football. But
they weren't impressive yesterday, but they beat up on a team that, if Hill was starting the whole season long, would probably win 5 games. Yep.
Agreed. Hey, let's get to it, man. We got a big show today. Of course, we want to remind everybody that's out there to like and subscribe. Show proof that you've been here. That's I guess that's what success is measured in these days, Scott. Right? As far as social media goes, you got to get the people to like you. You like Sally Fields. You like me. You really, really like me. So do that.
I've always fallen behind when it comes to the numbers of social media. I just go by happiness.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Dan Quinn loves trying to blow fourth quarter leads. I texted you in the fourth quarter. I almost texted you. It was right before the play. I had it ready to send and said, is there any doubt how this ends? As New Orleans was driving to cut it to 3. the way we'd been running on the farm, you just knew they were going to go the length of the football field into the prevent defense, score a touchdown, cut it to 3, and screw us. But that's not what happened because Hill was bad enough to overcome
Well,
that.
truth is, the play that I thought that decided the game, I believe, was the first play of the fourth quarter. It was 3rd and 2. They ran the quarterback power about 5 plays in a row for maybe 35 yards. And Sean Payton goes for a play action bootleg with a quarterback who can't throw the ball, and Parsons sacked them for about negative 11 yards, and they had to punt. So I thought that decided the game. I thought Payton was atrocious yesterday. You're running an unstoppable play for about 7 yards a play. You really had to call play action on 3rd and 2. Run the damn ball with Taysom Hill.
He's got to show run it twice. He just one of these coaches has to show everybody what a genius he is. Andy Reid
It
suffers
happened
from
twice. The drive before that, Sean Payton decided to throw the ball on 1st and 10 after 30 yards of running, and they were down they were behind the downs, and they had to punt again. So
Yep.
I give Sean Payton yesterday an F. I thought he was terrible.
Absolutely. Speaking of bad coaches, Dan Quinn getting roasted in the comment section right now.
Undefeated with the Cowboys.
T-Train,
Undefeated.
T-Train says how much he loves Dan Quinn because, of course, T-Train is a Patriots fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Yeah, we'll talk about Purdue here in a minute. So people talking about Purdue. I like that Purdue team, Scott. That's a good team. It's a good basketball team. They can when you've got an inside-outside game like that. I don't know how you beat them.
We'll talk about the game in a bit. Ben, I'll disagree with you on your point, though. You think that Florida State could potentially be better than Iowa? They're not. Florida State's not very good. I watched them play against Tulane, barely won that game. Iowa can actually score. They beat Virginia on the road. I know they're without Garza and company, but they still got Bohannon for about the 40th year. They have a couple other forwards who are decent. Iowa's better than Florida State. They might not be good enough to cover this number, but they are better than Florida State.
By the way, hello to Ben. Hello to Jer Silky Man. Look at that. I got it right on the first try. Probably be the only time I get it right all day. Happy Friday, man. All right, Scott, let's talk about it. By the way, I forgot to put it up, and I told you I'd surprise you with this. This is we do want you to like and subscribe, or of course there will be consequences if you do not. And of course I misspelled it. Reichel will come to your house and teach you the 13 different ways to spell Hanukkah. So
nice.
Definitely like and subscribe there, guys. All right, let's find out who took it in the shorts list yesterday. There's been some chat in the comments section already about what some of the candidates did, and there was definitely some contenders. Scott, let's find out who's picking up their cell phone and dialing 911 on the Friday edition of Call the Cops. All right, sir. Well, we will. We'll get our cops started as we take a look in the NFL little team total, Scott. If you had the Dallas Cowboys under 26.5, what the fuck were you thinking? I gave out the over as my play of the day. I came to you, I put it out there. I said, here, this is the play that's going to win, and you went, no, fuck that. We're playing the under 26.5. Well, you got what you deserve because you thought you were going to win. You thought you were going to fade me correctly. But no, they had 20 points, less than 3 minutes left. They don't even have the ball. The Saints, they threw a pick six, but that doesn't do that justice because I don't know who he was trying to hit if he wasn't trying to hit the defensive end. It was a beautiful pass right to him. Cowboys finished with 27. That's right. You had to sweat the extra point. Went right down the middle zero line. Thank you very much. You faded me and had the under 26.5. Ha-ha! You got what was coming to you. Call the cops.
And looking at another bad beat in hockey, if you had the Blues and Lightning under 5.5, you had 2 goals going into the third period. And with Vasilevsky in net, you're usually in good shape. However, that didn't stop the Lightning from scoring a couple of goals. You ended up with 4 goals in the third period alone, and the game landed 6.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And staying on the ice, if you had the Buffalo Sabres plus 1.5 on the reverse puck line playing the Panthers, you led 4-1 with less than 8 minutes left in the second period. So you're better than halfway through the game. You've got a 4-1 lead, and you're catching a goal in the half. What could possibly go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong. You could have some terrible play in between the pipes, Scott, because the Panthers reeled off 6 unanswered goals They covered the puck line with a goal to spare as the Sabres lost 7-4. Call the cops.
I'm just imagining that. You have a 4-goal cushion with less than a period and a half to go.
28
And
minutes.
that's just a disaster.
28 minutes. It's all you got to do. You just don't give up a goal. Basically, what? Every 7 minutes, you're fine.
Pretty much.
You
Yeah.
fucking win. All right. So the good news was there were some people that were in the place you want to be. Let's find out who had the golden tickets last night, who was sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one was in the NBA. If you had the Bucks and Raptors under 216, you must have felt better about it once Giannis was ruled out for the game. But you had 3 quarters with less than 50 points, and the game landed 190.
It's tough. It's tough. I'm sorry. I'm gearing it up for this one right here. Sorry.
Are we going back to the NBA of everybody might be resting, so plan accordingly?
Oh,
Because we had Giannis not playing yesterday. Paul George didn't play yesterday. It seemed like a lot of teams decided to just, you know what? Who cares? It's December. Yeah, Christmas around the corner. Let's give these guys a day off.
It's not as bad as last year when they were doing the same thing, but
That was a disaster.
Then you had the COVID specter where they would cancel, I don't know what, 2 or 3 college basketball games a night. You'd have guys sitting out all of a sudden that tested positive. It was a mess. So yeah, it's been a challenging couple of seasons to handicap for sure, Scott. And the whole last minute injury thing, we bitched about it last year. That doesn't appear to be getting any better. So yeah, okay. All right, I've avoided it long enough. I got to talk about it. As many of you know, I'm a alumni of the University of Missouri, Columbia, proud Tiger. Not
Who were they playing yesterday?
Liberty, 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 liberty. Or
good enough. Liberty.
There you go. Liberty not that good this year, Scott. We had even talked about this game. I believe I foolishly said perhaps the Tigers were a bit undervalued in this spot. Maybe 5.5 points, 5 points, whatever you got of that. That might be something you want to look into. Well,
I said the under, so that was where I was going with it.
Oh, good for you. Because
this
game was 33-7, Scott, with about 8 minutes left in the first half. Mizzou had 7 points. They had been lucky enough to kick the extra point, but that was about it. Fucking nothing. Nothing went right in this game. Liberty, again, not good. Not a good basketball team. Mizzou never in this one. They trailed by 21 at halftime. Liberty took their foot off the gas, still won by 21 as they finish it up 66-44. Like if you had Liberty there, if you had the under, if you faded Mizzou, God bless you. You were all over the rocket chair.
And looking at the last one in college basketball, first of all, because of the margin that this ended up winning at, you know that the odds makers were drunk. Must have been pretty good for today's video. But
and I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that's too. But
because if those games didn't land here, we got to have something special.
Yeah, so we're looking at Northern Arizona and Weber State. If you had the under 144, you only had 46 points in the first half. So you're in a good shape unless you go to triple overtime. They did not, and the game landed 111.
Yeah, very good. All right, let's talk about it because we've got a couple that we just absolutely need to discuss. So we're gonna do our segments here, and then we'll break down the game. We'd like just do a marathon of breaking down games. But Scott, I'll tell you what. Yesterday there was a lot of this going around, but I have to say this one takes the cake. I'm not, it would be hard to be mad. It's hard to be mad, but man, am I disappointed. All right, they got the double.
They kind of deserve the double, don't they?
Yeah.
It was so bad. It could have been Donkey of the Day. That's how bad it was.
I'll let you do this one.
So everyone knows which game we're going to talk about, but we got to talk about it. The Memphis Grizzlies were missing John Morant for their game yesterday, and Oklahoma City decided we'll make it fair. We're going to not play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We'll see what happens here with some bench players getting more minutes. And apparently Memphis's bench is a lot better than Oklahoma City's bench because the Thunder lost by an NBA record 73 points which is the margin you'd see when the United States plays against Uganda in basketball in the Olympics or FIBA or something. 73 points in an NBA game? Really?
That's
73? That's
ridiculous.
almost impossible to do.
Yes, it does. It boggles the mind. And you and I talked about this. I think almost the 73 points is certainly amazing. Just about as amazing. This game went over. So they had they put up 79, right? The Grizzlies
Yeah.
had 79, or I mean the Thunder had 79 points. So you had one team score 79 points and it went over the total, which I think was in the 220s, right?
I'll tell you an even more fun statistic here. Oklahoma City scored 79 points. If you throw out the first half offensively for the Grizzlies, if they scored 0 points in the first half,
They still lost.
they still would have won the game. They scored 80 points in the second half compared to Oklahoma City's 79 for the entire game.
That's outstanding. That's just fantastic right there.
That's the type of game where you can make an argument that Oklahoma City should be demoted to the G League and they should have some relegation system because that is next level bad.
Very good. Yeah, we had to mention it. That game was just outrageous. So,
Brad, by the way, I thought about including that for a bad beat. That was almost going to be Donkey of the Day because of that awful foul call late. I couldn't call it a bad beat, though, because I'm pretty sure Utah State was laying. So I don't know if I can call that a bad beat, but calling a foul like that 85 feet from the basket with about 0.4 on the clock, that is a really bad job by the referees there. So I'll acknowledge that, Brad. I didn't put it on Call the Cops because it was a tie game at the time, but that was such an abysmal call. I don't know if you saw that, but that was a terrible call.
I saw the replay of it. I didn't see it live, but
how about the coaches not shaking hands after the game? Like Utah State's coach refused to shake hands with the St. Mary's coach. What'd the St. Mary's coach do? What'd he do? The referees made the bad call. Shake the guy's hand.
Yeah. Show a little class. Act like you've been there before. That's all I'm saying. Happens. People, you know what? It happens. So, all right. The odds makers definitely had some cocktails yesterday, Scott. There was a couple of lines that made no sense, and this one,
the Grizzlies game was one of them, but we saved that for the other segment.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's find out why were the odds makers so drunk today? So you've got a team in the Portland Trailblazers, and I don't want to say they're a one-man band, but they certainly, I would say Damian Lillard has an outsized presence in that team. So he's not going to play the game against the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Spurs, obviously not a great basketball team. However, they were still 5-point underdogs against the Blazers, even without Lillard playing. That Blazers team, by the way, not great, and certainly not great on defense. The Spurs, they didn't need your 5 points. They say, no, thank you. I'll just play these. They went outright by 31 points. Scott, congratulations to the Spurs beating the number by 36. Odds makers, what the hell were you thinking? Damian Lillard, pretty important.
I get that Portland's very good at home, but of course Lillard struggled this year. He's still clearly your best player. Portland isn't a good basketball team, and I hated their moves during the offseason. They now got rid of, I believe it was the GM yesterday. That's you're bad at your job. When you don't know if they got fired because of the product they put on the court or because of off-the-court issues. That's how you know you're really bad at your job, when you don't know the reason why the person was actually fired. But Portland is just a terrible basketball team. I mean, the Billups hire so far hasn't worked out. Your main offseason move was signing Larry Nance, like getting Larry Nance Jr. Like, give me a break. Your team's just bad.
Yep. Hey, good to see Donald Hatch in the house. J.R. Black is here as well. Eula Foster is hanging out as well with us on Friday. That was that's a franchise that I really thought, Scott, last year, I thought they were on the verge of maybe doing something, maybe being able to be competitive there in the West. And they've taken not just a step backwards, it seems like they've taken about 9 steps backwards. So
they completely lost me when they traded Gary Trent for Norman Powell. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Trent and I like Powell. I think they're both, pretty similar players, honestly. But I just thought that you're looking at your overall roster. You can't stop a nosebleed. You can't really do anything on the defensive end. and you thought your problem was Gary Trent Jr.?
Right.
Really? That was the issue you thought you needed to address?
Yeah, not
So
the
that was from last year, but yeah, switching coaches didn't change much. The overall roster isn't very good.
Jacob Houston would like to know if there's any value on the Western Kentucky team total over 37.5 at -125.
Well, I gave it out at -110 for the college show. Reminder, we already filmed the college show. So check that one out if you want some college picks for the weekend. I still like the over because Western Kentucky with Zappy has really just walked into 40 burgers every single week for the last month and a half. Scored 46 against UTSA earlier this year. I do think 37.5, of course, seems high. It's really not. This game might get into the 80s. You?
Yeah, I just can't. There's maybe somewhere out there, Scott. There's like a handicapper good enough to go. This point to some statistics say this is going to happen. This is going to happen. I like the under in this game. I'm not that guy. I see a Western Kentucky offense that just hasn't been stopped. Bailey's
You're going to think that the under might have value when you see the line, and then you'll watch the first drive and just see Zappy throwing it around the parking lot, and you'd realize I've made a horrible mistake about 2 minutes into the game, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You think, oh my God, just because when you see a number in the 70s, you know that it just takes, a couple of dry drives, a couple of long drives with a turnover, a punt. You're like, oh fuck, we're golden. And you start watching that Western Kentucky game, and you're like, oh my God, these guys are never going to be stopped. Zappy has thrown 52 touchdown passes on the season. I think the most incredible stat he's thrown at least 3 touchdown passes in every game this year. That's mind-boggling to me.
It is a true road game, so I do think the defense will have moments for UTSA, but as a whole, it's really a you can't stop, but can you contain philosophy because Western Kentucky, when you're number 2 in the whole nation in points per game, you're clearly doing something that defenses can't handle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you say, well, UTSA, they're way better than the other teams in Conference USA. Fair enough point. However, Zappy threw for the most yards he has all season long against who? UTSA, 528 last time they played. And by the way, they were also able to average over 5 yards a carry. And that's a team that doesn't run the ball at all. They run the ball second least in the country to only Mississippi State. Only Mississippi State throws the ball more than Western Kentucky. So, and they were still able to have success on the ground against UTSA. I don't know how they get stopped. If you play the under here and you hit it, God bless you. You're way fucking smarter than I am. Scott?
I don't know if it's a matter of smart or it's a matter of just having more guts than I do, but it's over a pass here. I took the single team total over because UTSA has some issues with health for their quarterback. Harris left last week's game. He should play in this one, but I am curious if he's a bit compromised, which is why I think the line has moved so much for a road team because, of course, this is being played in UTSA's backyard. But I'm looking at the offense. It's just too attractive to not take an over for a team total.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Ben points out something interesting, and I kind of even though I wrote these numbers and I knew how many he had, I had
52 touchdowns.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the fact he's only eight away from Burrow, because you think of that number as being that 60 is just being so far out there. And Bailey Zappi has what would you give his odds on tying the record, Scott, of throwing 8 touchdown passes in this game in the bowl game?
In this game in the bowl game, I think he's got a decent shot at it because I'm trying to think of who Western Kentucky would realistically play in a bowl game. A team from what, the MAC? Throw him in the Bahamas Bowl again? Like I don't think you're going up against a good defense.
No.
So I do think he could go for 4 or 5 in the bowl game. So I do think that indoors against the defense that got absolutely torched by North Texas last week, I think he's a good chance to go for 5 in this game.
I agree. Brad Crawford said it would be awesome to see Notre Dame squeak into the playoffs and new coach Freeman lead them to the national championship. Karma, baby. F. Brian Dickhead Kelly. I like how he annotates fuck, but spells out dickhead in all caps.
I do like that balance that he kept in that.
Not a fan of Kelly. I hate that guy, says Brad Crawford. So
I'm not a fan of Kelly for the separate reasons, whether it involved the guy filming the practice who didn't really live to tell the story about it. You had whatever happened with him ditching the players at 7 a.m. And he had the issue about Robert Saleh and LaFleur, if you heard that story. You hear that story?
No, what was the deal?
So they were, I believe it was grad assistants when he was coaching at, I think it was Central Michigan at the time. And he invited them to show up for some type of gathering, a party, something at his place. So they showed up and they were assuming that they got invited to the party. They were going to hang out. And Kelly threw them car keys outside the house and said, "You guys are doing valet tonight." And then he closed the door behind them.
God.
So he forced them to park cars without telling them they were going to park cars. Not exactly a nice guy, Brian Kelly is.
No, that's just God damn. I would not be happy. I would not be happy. Somebody wanted to know Western Kentucky first half. Yeah, I have a hard time.
I don't mind it, but if you're going to take him there, just take him full game because I do think the home crowd would at least provide a spark for a little while.
Well, they're fourth in the country in scoring. They're seventh in the country in first half scoring. So
just saying, why wouldn't you just take them full game if you think they're going to roll early?
Take them all.
You could.
You know, it took, and I will say that it took them a half to get rolling last week. And boy, once they got rolling indeed.
47 points in the second half.
Scott, thoughts on the Rangers tonight? Took care of business last time out.
I think that they're a good hockey team, as much as it pains me to say it, because of course I'm an Islanders fan. But San Jose played yesterday, went to overtime, ended up beating the Islanders. Shocker, they beat the Islanders. Who would have thought? But that game went to overtime. So I do like the Rangers in regulation here. I do think that the Rangers are the better overall team. San Jose is a team that I think is still below average. I think that they are not as bad as last year, but the Rangers are just a good hockey team. Give me the Rangers in regulation. I think San Jose, after overtime, should be a little bit fatigued. Give me the Rangers and MSG.
Yeah, agreed. Even though it's not a travel spot, I think that overtime hockey has to take it out of you. And I do like the way the Rangers are playing. We talked about it last time, and I see nothing to make me not want to take them in regulation again. They cashed for us the other day when we had that. We'll do it again. Your Nets tonight, buddy. There's some talk about the Nets. I know you're still a big Nets fan, laying 7.5. You trust this team to lay 7.5 to anybody, even if it is the T-Wolves?
No. I know I got a disagreement in the comment section when I said that I liked the Knicks plus the points against the Nets earlier in the week because I didn't trust the Nets laying this many points, and they're laying basically the same amount against a Minnesota team that has been mediocre because they're 11-11. But Towns is questionable, which is why it seems like this line has gone up a bit. It has not been confirmed if he's officially out or not, so it seems like he's a game time decision. We'll wait and see. But the Nets are a team that's 15-6. They're the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. However, if you look at their games, they don't win by a lot of margin. They're a team that seems to always be in one-possession games late in the fourth quarter. So I don't really want to lay that much with the Nets. If I'm playing, give me the points.
Yeah, I'm with you. Brooklyn 8-12-1 against the number, and they've been pretty overvalued at home as far as covering the spread goes. So yeah, it's one of those situations where as a fan you're happy, and that's having a good season first in the East. If you're a bettor and you back the Nets, you're fucking pissed at them.
If you watch the Nets, it's never easy. They'll win games, but the fourth quarter is always a sweat. I see a question from Jacob about the Jets in regulation against the Devils at -105. I have to like that. If you're looking at the spot for New Jersey, it's a brutal spot. They got buried by Minnesota yesterday. Now they're traveling to Canada. You look at the last 2 games, the Wild killed them and the Sharks killed them. So it seems like the New Jersey Devils kind of peaked a little bit too early, and now they're falling back down to earth because they can't stop other teams from scoring. I have to like Winnipeg there. I think the Devils defensively are a mess. I wouldn't mind the team total over there for the Jets as well.
I'm not thrilled to get involved with either one of these teams. With the Jets losing 6 of their last 7, I know they're at home, but this is a team that puked on their shoes the last time at home against Arizona. Decent price. You got 2 bad hockey teams right now, Scott.
I'm looking at the travel spot there. I do think -105 does seem quite appealing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. When all things being equal, and that includes when they're both on the equal side of the shitty scale, yeah, fade the travel and the visitors there.
Mhm.
I don't hate that, but I'm not going to put much more than pizza money on the Jets at this point. That's all I'm saying. Cracking on the money line, buddy. Are you cracking on the money line tonight, Scott?
As much as I enjoy the Kraken, I am not picking them to win this game because I think that Edmonton team is, well, pretty talented. Let's put it that way. They're good at home, but I'm going to stay away.
They've got some scorers. I watched the end of that game the other night, and they were.
That McDavid kid, pretty good.
I've heard that. I've heard that
Mhm.
about him. Yeah, it's an Oilers team that's won 5 of their last 6. Of course, it's a Kraken team. Break up the Kraken, buddy. They've won 4 of their last 6 as well.
I
So
picked them to make the playoffs because the Pacific Division is atrocious. They have some
right.
work to do, but they got a shot there. They're very good at home. The real question is, do I think the Kraken can keep up with the real just talent from the likes of McDavid and Draisaitl, or even just the power play? If the Kraken are going to win, they really need to stay out of the penalty box because that Edmonton power play is really something else.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost unstoppable at this point. It really is.
It's one of the best power plays I've ever seen.
It's fantastic. And even me with my limited hockey knowledge, recognize how good it is. So that means it's good, by the way.
Mhm.
Kansas minus 6.5. Rock chalk. Let me see.
Who would win, a Jayhawk or a Red Storm?
You gotta like the Red Storm.
You always go with nature in those questions.
This is interesting, Scott, because I know St. John's is a team that you follow quite a bit for geographical reasons, and I follow the Jayhawks, even though I despise them for geographical reasons as well. Jayhawks laying 7 on the road. I'm not sure I trust this Kansas team, but then again, Scott, St. John's, they've had a couple of bumps this season as well. What are your feelings on this game? Should
The
be
St. John's team I said I thought would be a tournament team by regular season's end, and they have not made it easy.
that
The
is,
win
by the
against
way, that is a
Indiana
good
would
time
have,
to be a tournament team.
yeah,
That's
that is definitely
really
true.
should be one by
A
that
win
time.
against Indiana would have definitely helped. However, they lost by 2. Very close game throughout. They kept it close. They're 5-1 though. They have not really looked that good against out of conference teams, which I expect because St. John's does that every year. They struggled against St. Francis Brooklyn, struggled against NJIT. That game went to overtime, I believe, and they ended up winning that one. So I have not been impressed by what I've seen from the Red Storm lately. The question that I have is, can St. John's force enough turnovers against Kansas to win this game? Because Kansas is a team that's more talented. It's obvious. They're a top 8 team in the country. However, I do have questions about the actual just guard play from Kansas in general. I do think that the big men for Kansas should have a bit of an advantage because I do like the size they have on the interior. And I am a big fan of McCormick. I think McCormick's just a very solid player. So I do like him. But you're looking at Braun, Remy Martin, I think is pretty solid as well. If St. John's can't generate turnovers, they're going to have problems in this game. It's either Kansas or pass for me, but I'm just going to not play this game. You?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like this St. John's team. I think they're a team that's ultimately going to come together. I really thought the Jayhawks were going to roll through the season. That loss to Dayton the other night was kind of a surprise, obviously, but I think it may have served as a wake up call. They came out and they took care of business in their next game against pretty scrappy Iona team.
Yeah, Iona beat Alabama, so that's a respectable team.
That's what I'm saying. So there's if you wanted to have a letdown there, you certainly could have had an opportunity to do that, but they didn't. They took care of their business against Iona. But tonight, I'm with you. I've got a small lean towards KU. I think if both these teams play at their peak, I think KU's 8 to 10 points better than St. John's right now. But
Yeah,
that's
this is the first game ever.
experience.
This is the first basketball game ever taking place in the UBS arena. So they are playing it in the Islanders arena instead of MSG. But I just look at the size on these teams. Besides Soriano, does St. John's really have anybody else that can really match up? If Soriano gets into foul trouble, they're going to get killed on the boards. and I see that
Yeah,
happening.
yeah, that's absolutely true because they've got McCormick and they've got, of course, your favorite player, Scott, Mitch Lightfoot. That's not
45-year college guy.
not getting a ton of minutes right now, but he is making the best of what he does. And Jalen Wilson has been very good for the Jayhawks so
And
far.
you
So,
also got to mention Agbaji, who's been very good.
yes, absolutely.
I mean, he's a lottery pick. I think he's very good.
UBS not home team friendly. See the New York Islanders.
Yes. Still over. But they got a point yesterday. They got their first point in the UBS arena yesterday.
So there's that baby steps, Bob. Did you miss the UFC picks? Have you done a UFC video?
I did not. I will do that most likely some point tonight.
Any action in Bellator tonight? You had a great piece of advice for Bellator bettors a couple of weeks ago. You want to recap that?
Yeah, when in doubt, bet the favorites. Just the way Bellator goes. Occasionally, of course, with fights, you'll see a long shot win every now and then. For the most part, you'll see a bunch of large chalk parlays all over Twitter. They usually hit. Laying juice does have merit in Bellator because you can really tell there is a massive talent differential in most cases between the favorites and the underdogs in Bellator in comparison to the UFC.
But he says the best Bellator card possibly ever tonight. Says Magellan Sports. Says and it was dog heavy last card. So
Yeah, last card was dog heavy. I'm saying most cards tend to be very, very favorite. Let's just say favorite. I don't even know. The favorites usually win. Let's put it that way.
So to recap, when betting Bellator, usually the fighter that is favored will win the fight. Occasionally, one of the the fighters who is a longer shot will win the fight. Right?
Yes, but I'm saying it's different in Bellator compared to other sports because there are larger favorite lines in comparison to Bellator and UFC. You will see a lot more minus 600s, minus 800s in Bellator compared to UFC because the talent gap is so huge. Now, if you want to actually talk about Bellator, the card itself, I'm rooting for Sergio Pettis. I'm hoping he wins. I think you're getting a decent price on him. I do think that Horiguchi is pretty good, but I do think that Pettis is being a bit disrespected by this line. So I'm actually going to look to Pettis. But in terms of actual, I love this play, I don't have many of those on this card.
Well, are you using a flashlight? Do you have light?
What are you talking about?
You look like you're in the dark. You're all shadowy and you got the candle go out. What the hell are you doing there?
No, one light bulb actually went out and I had to replace it. And I guess the light bulb I replaced it with was a little bit more dim than the previous one.
Like, what did you replace it with? An apple?
I replaced
Good
it with a
Lord.
light bulb, but I guess it wasn't fluorescent enough.
All right, very good, man. You look scary there, buddy. And you kind of look like you have a pointed ZZ Top beard. It's an interesting look.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Women go crazy about a sharp dressed man.
yeah, they do. Dustin Poirier minus 155. Think the juice is worth it, buddy? I know you're a Poirier fan.
I think that the exact method of outcome is a better way to go about it. I think taking Poirier by knockout would be my move. I like Oliveira. I respect what he's done, but he almost got knocked out by Michael Chandler in the first round of that fight, if you remember it. I know that Oliveira came back and took his head off the following round, but he was really about 2 seconds away from not even getting the title in the first place. Poirier, I think, is the best fighter in the weight class. He's got the power, he's got the durability, and I do think that he is good enough all around to avoid getting absolutely dominated on the ground by Oliveira. I'm looking at Poirier by knockout. I do think he has enough power to really just rock Oliveira. Give me Poirier by knockout.
Okay. All right. Before we get to the plays, I do want to remind everybody I'm really bad. Don't forget to listen to my pal Chris King over there doing just parlays. I know they hit another one yesterday, and I know he's got a segment where they kind of like throw some long shots in there, and they've been really doing well. So make sure you check that show out every day, 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the YouTubes, on the what, Scott? What are we calling it?
It's the oh boy, the Winners and Whiners Sports Gambling Network.
Oh, so close. So close.
Damn it.
Sports Betting Network.
Oh, okay. Gambling, betting. Okay. Sorry.
The WWSBN to your friends.
Okay.
All right,
SBN. Okay.
yes.
Either way.
Very good.
JR, to answer your question, which of those would I bet the farm with? Cornell, Quinnipiac, or Charleston? My argument would be if you want to bet the farm on Cornell, Quinnipiac, or Charleston, you should probably go to a meeting. Just saying.
Hi, my name is Scott. I like College of Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
T-Train says his wife likes my shirts. Okay, Tony, I got a funny story about this shirt because I'm picking out shirts the other day. I'm ordering shirts, looking at them on Amazon. My wife says, "You need another orange shirt," and I'm like, "Are we fucking directing traffic somewhere?" This shirt, it is. I did not realize it was actually going to be shiny on camera. So I think she's just trolling me. I think she's messing with me. You need another orange shirt. You're just no one needs another orange shirt. Or the short answer to that Tony would be to tell Kimmy, "Thank you very much for the compliment." He said the only time he wears a shirt like that is when it's duck season. I agree with Reichel wearing a bright red shirt. I'd like to see that. And by the way, tune into the NFL show tomorrow because I will be wearing the Dallas Cowboy garb.
Oh, you got it. Look at you.
I did. Orange prison attire. Yes, orange is the new black. Absolutely. You got any final thoughts for plays before we get to it? Before we head out to the back 40 and check out our new land?
Yeah. I see some people asking. I don't know if it's because of your shirt or in general that they'd like us to do a live tennis show. I'm a big fan of tennis, so if we actually wanted to do tennis, people might remember a couple of years ago I actually gave out a decent amount of tennis plays. I still give out the occasional Grand Slam play. I wouldn't be against doing a tennis show. I wouldn't mind it.
Sure. That nothing would delight me more than to talk about tennis for 2 hours every fucking day.
I think the only thing that would delight you more would be talking about NASCAR for 2+ hours.
Well, you know,
we could do NASCAR. We could bring it back.
I like both of those sports. I don't feel I have enough knowledge to be profitable as a bettor. That's my problem. I like watching tennis. I like a good tennis match. I will even bet on an occasional tennis match. And sometimes I even win. I would not add much value to that show is what I'm saying to you. So Zach Vaughn votes for NASCAR.
We were good in NASCAR. I have the numbers. I think I was up like 18 units in NASCAR when we did it.
We were all profitable. We were all profitable in NASCAR betting. It was a lot of fun. That was some of the most fun we had when we did a 3-man show, and then you and I did like our pandemic NASCAR stuff last year because nothing else was going on. It was NASCAR and golf, baby.
My advice for anybody, I know that Magellan Sports is talking about live tennis. If you want to try to get underdogs, just assume that every female tennis player that's serving is going to get broken. It really helps you out with live lines because a lot of them are really awful at serving. That's my tip, my brief tip there.
T-Train worked for NASCAR for 31 years. Dude, what did you do? And I hate the delay that he can't answer right away, but in a minute
Is it true that rubbing is racing? Is that true?
Rubbing is racing. That's right in the rule book, man. Yeah. WTA is great. I know there is a lot of, well, I don't know a lot, but there are a few really good tennis handicappers that make a fortune. Nathan Cerna says, I don't feel appreciated here. Have we missed you, buddy? Have we missed some Nathan comments? I knew I'm terrible at this.
I see Jennifer asking about MLS playoffs. Unfortunately, as a Red Bulls fan, my team gave up a goal in the 123rd minute to lose the damn first round. We could talk about soccer briefly some other time, but as a Red Bulls fan, it's been a pretty annoying year.
Well, I can do you one better. Sporting gave up 2 goals in the last 18 minutes to lose.
I remember that. Yeah, they celebrated right in front of you. I remember that.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Nathan says he's been giving out gifts left and right. Okay, guys. It is my bad. It is never a sign of disrespect. I hope I tell you this enough, but if I haven't, the comments come quickly. I'm doing other things here as far as putting up the graphics and stuff like that. I am going to miss a lot of comments. I apologize in advance. It's never meant as a slight. It's just when I pop in and I see and I'll read some. So anyway, Nathan, thanks for giving out picks. Thanks to everybody that gives out picks. Number 1, thanks for taking the time to stop, check it out, put your comments in. Number 2, y'all are good cappers. So thanks very much for putting the picks in, because they're usually valuable and they're usually winners. A lot of winning stuff from our viewers.
I see somebody asking, by the way, about Portland against Real Salt Lake. I gotta like Portland for MLS soccer. They've played 3 times in 2021. Portland's won all 3. The last 2 games have outscored them 9-2. Portland's the best team in the league. So yeah, I don't mind taking Portland there.
CFL, asked Jennifer Luz. Yes, we do not spend time on CFL.
You spend more time on CFL than I do.
Yes, I like the CFL. I'll make an occasional play. I'll watch the games. I would call myself a casual fan of the CFL. I wish I had time to be a bigger fan because I love the game. I dig the. I would love to see the NFL take the CFL rules. It's just more of a Canadian mentality, dude. Like, just what the fuck? Let's just do it. As opposed to the more buttoned down NFL. I like that a lot. So,
do we cover boxing? Occasionally.
Yes.
Occasionally we cover boxing. Not often, but if there's a big fight, we'll talk about it.
Yep. Absolutely true. T-Train says most are good cappers. Carrot sucks. Carrot's all about the volume, brother. What just happened? Dude, long time no here. Good to have you here. Finally catching up. Love the Scots. Absolutely. We love you guys back. In fact, we love them so much, Scott. Why don't we give out a great play? What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready? All right, let's do it, everybody. Well, nothing to it, my friend. Let's have everybody confidently put on their straw hats today, climb aboard your John Deere tractor, and get ready for a little drive. We got to head to the back 40 and inspect the new property, because it's time once again to bet the farm. Nope. I'm not going to read comments, and if I'm not going to do the cues correctly, what the fuck am I even doing here? That's what I'm asking. Okay. So, Scott, we had a little bet the farm play yesterday. How did it go?
We won something. Yeehaw.
No, you completely missed the cue where it was.
Truth is, the thing kind of lagged out right towards the end, so I just guesstimated.
All right. Well,
I remember to do it at some point, though. I remember to do it.
We did get a yeehaw out of you, not to be confused with yeet, but that's pretty close. So let's get ready to bet the farm, kids. And this is going to be a play that we talked a little bit about on the show yesterday, and we talked a lot about the UTSA game in Western Kentucky. We didn't talk quite as much about this one, which should be another offensive showcase. We like the Pitt Panthers over 37. A couple of reasons why. First of all, Pitt, they can put some points on the board under the worst of circumstances. They average 42.8 points per game, 38 points per game in ACC play, and that's against average defenses. This Wake Forest defense someday dreams of being average. They have been terrible against every offensive team with a pulse. Take Duke and BC out of the equation. They have given up 51 points per game in their last 4, including in that list is a Clemson team that hadn't been able to score on anyone. Both of these teams, when you look at whether to bet a total, you have to look at pace. Both of these teams go at a breakneck pace. Wake is number 2 in the nation, while the Pitt Panthers are number 4. You are going to see some plays and get some opportunities to put the biscuit in the basket. And finally, Pitt, they rank number 6 in yards per game. Kenny Pickett, perhaps you've heard of him. He is a Heisman contender at this point. He will be going to New York to sit in his chair and watch someone else win, but he is number 2 in the nation. Who's he number 2 to, Scott? Who's number 1 again?
For efficiency, I believe it's Bennett.
No, touchdown passes.
Oh, touchdown passes, Zappy. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Bailey Zappe with 52, but he has 40.
I thought you meant efficiency numbers, because I know that the efficiency numbers are really high for Bennett.
Yeah. Hey, well, we man, we were going so smoothly. Anyway, Pickett's very good. Number 2 in the nation, touchdown passes. He's the shit. He's going to be playing on Sundays. We love this play. There's just no other way around it, guys. We absolutely love this play. So get yourself down on this one.
Quickly address something. I see that Jennifer's talking about Kenny Pickett with the flu. He actually had the flu earlier this week, but he did return to practice, and he's going to play. So the flu might have been an issue if the game was on Monday, but it's not. So Pickett's back to 100%. We're good. Give us the team total over.
The one thing we're going to say about the flu in this one, at the end of it, it flew over the total.
Yeah.
Give us Pitt team total over 37. All right, guys, that's the Bet the Farm play for today. That's our show for today. That's our show for the week. Of course, tune in tomorrow on Saturday, regular time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We'll be breaking down the NFL. But other than that, join us every day right here, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, as we head back to the window, part of the ever-burgeoning WWSBN, the Winners and Winers Sports Betting Network. You guys have a great weekend. Thanks again for being part of the proceedings. We'll see you Monday, or even better, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.